So for me, I had set goals of myself of I wanted to get a PDGA sanctioned win because I had never had one. I had come close, I'd podium finished, but I never had a win. So I wanted to have that career stat on my PDGA profile of, you had a sanctioned win tournament. And then I wanted to hit 800. I felt like 800 for me was a good point of moving out of FA2 and transitioning to FA1. So once I had hit 800, any tournament that I hadn't yet signed up for, I was fully into FA1. I didn't change tournaments that I was already registered in because I felt like that was more so just too much effort, and I didn't want to put that on the TD in case they were counting on numbers of players for certain divisions. I was like, I don't want to be that person that's flip flopping last minute. So I was like, anything that I was already registered in by the time I had hit my goals, I was gonna stay where I was, pending my rating didn't jump too high too fast. And then anything subsequent after that was going to be straight FA1. And this year is all FA1. And then my goals to move to FPO, I think, is going to be about 875. If I can get there, then I think that would be a good time to maybe transition to FPO and try my hand out there and just see how it goes. But I mean, it's a long way to go. It's still 50 points to get there, but you never know what's going to happen.
For me, it came from just starting to consistently end up with top fives, top threes. I unfortunately never did get the win. I came close. My very last MA2 tournament ever went to a playoff against Alejandro Diaz-Yana, and he beat me on the very first hole in front of a huge crowd because Crystal's Allins made us wait until all the other divisions were done so we could have a huge gallery. So maybe the most nervous I've ever been on a tee shot, and losing to a 14-year-old was, I mean, everybody was cheering for him. And of course, everyone's rooting for the kid. But that was my last MA2 tournament, and it just came from getting, more consistent rounds in terms of ratings getting higher, but then also the finishing position. I think once you're starting to finish regularly in the top 3 to 5 range in a division, especially lower amateur divisions, MA3 moving up to MA2 or MA2 to MA1, I think then the time is ready, and especially if you get a win. I think if you get a win in a division, in a lower amateur division, MA3 or MA2, I think it's time to then move up to the top. I won't say anything about MA1 to MPO because I don't want to lock myself into committing to committing to anything.
So mine's kind of easy. All the women that I was playing FA1 with were making a pro division because we didn't have one. So I actually played one tournament in amateur still, in like the beginning of the year, and then the second tournament of the year I moved up with them to pro. So it was kind of a growth of the women's side of sports, or of the sport. So that was kind of an easy choice, and at that point, people dropped out of the pro division, and it's totally looks different than it did when we first started it. But yeah, me and Sandy have been there for a while.
For me, back when I turned pro in like 2017, let's say.
Just a guess.
AM1 wasn't quite as good as it is right now. I think my rating when I moved to pro was like 920. And being a 920 rated player, I was the highest rated player in M1 because anybody higher than that got
moved up.
What word am I looking for? Shamed and get called a sandbag. Shamed into moving to pro. So I won the Bronny Creek Classic, and that was my one MA1 win, and I was coming top 5 a lot. So I just decided it was time. And you always like playing with better people. So.
I think the moment I was pretty much dead set on a goal. Like when I first started playing MA2, it was just kind of see what I can do. I was hoping the first season of playing it, I would do a little bit better, but last year my goal was just to keep playing it until like I win my first tournament, and then it's like, okay, I think I'm ready to move up now. And thankfully, like last year winning Foxwood, it was like, all right, this is a good tournament to win and kind of move up.
I'll go first. For me, I was playing MA1 for a couple years, and I got a whole slew of second and third places. I never won a tournament, and a lot of the MA1 guys have a mentality of they don't feel like they should move up to MPO until they win an MA1 tournament, which is fine. But the reality is a lot of the guys who come, if you look at tournament results, who come top 3 at MA1, in some tournaments might be in the cash of an MPO event if they play the same layout. Not always, but often enough. And I felt like I was consistently in that top chunk of MA1 and decided, I don't need players packs anymore. I might as well play for the chance at making cash. And it's just that next level progression. It's like, okay, you get to the top little bit of one division. It's interesting challenge to see if you can even make the top half of another division. And to be honest, that when I made that jump, I felt I started learning so much more from playing with those guys who are way better than me. Like I may be losing by 20, 25 strokes in over a few rounds, but playing alongside some of those top guys, you just learn so much. So that was the incentive to me is one, I feel like I'm doing pretty well in everyone. I wanted just to see what it's like to at that next level. And if I went up there and I really was getting hammered, I might have come back, but was able to hang in that middle pack. So I think that was a good challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think similarly for myself, I was winning a lot of FA1's events, and I decided it was time to try FPO because at first I was nervous to make the jump, and especially I still felt like I had a lot to learn in terms of skills needed to play at the highest level. Like I didn't have a forehand. My putting wasn't very consistent even within Circle 1, and I still made some pretty unforced errors, I'd say. So I didn't feel like I could, but then I was doing well in FA1, and I eventually said, okay, like I need to try FPO, and it was a warm welcome because my first FPO event I won. So then I thought, oh, okay, I guess I should stay. But regardless, I think if you're in the top percentage of your division, it's worth trying the higher division just to see how it feels to play against a different level, because really you're not playing against people, you're playing against yourself. The only thing that the people around you do is they can motivate you, they can teach you new things. So that was one of the big advantages of moving up, was I was seeing a lot of people forehand more often or run more distance putts, and that is very encouraging when you're learning those skills.
Well, tournaments weren't as big back then, and 'cause I started playing tournaments in 2008, and so all the good players that I wanted to play with and all the guys I had met were all better than me playing in pro, and I kind of just wanted to play with them and see where I stood up. So I just, once I think I got 2 wins in AM1 and then just moved up right after that. I didn't feel like I needed to keep winning. I just wanted to play with the better players.
That's a good question. I think the ratings in Ontario, the whole ratings category thing in Ontario is kind of funny. I feel like there's a lot of folks, myself probably included. I don't know if I'm actually an MA1 player, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think if I went to some big tournaments in the States, I would probably be more in that MA2 category. But in Ontario, I seem to be competitive in MA1, and maybe that's because everybody in Ontario kind of jumps up early. Or maybe that's just the way that it is in Ontario, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think more so it was competing with friends locally and trying to figure out kind of understanding where they are in their ratings and in which category they were in. And also the competition level, I think just fits me better in MA1.
I think it was the age, especially with how younger kids are getting playing these days. Last year, I think, or the year before, I think I was on card with a couple 16-year-olds, and they're just go for a couple days, and this guy. But yeah, definitely when I hit 40, it was a decision even when I was 39 that I was going to switch. So I couldn't keep up with Spencer Young and all those younger guys, right? Who could just so much energy.